Hello and welcome to the next session on ABAP on cloud training. In the last episode, we started discussing about our first projection layer for the processor scenario in the managed use case. Towards the end of the class, we were not able to activate our service binding. I have found the root cause of the issue. So we'll start fixing the issue first, and then we will go ahead and proceed with our approver projection layer also. So let's get started and have a quick look at once again to our scenario which we are currently creating with ABAP on cloud using managed model. So by far we were created the base CDS model, the so-called business object which constitutes three entities, so-called travel, booking and booking supplement. We have given the behavior definition for our main entities in one single file, and then we started creating the projection layer yesterday with UI annotation for each of these entities. We have added all the UI annotations related to the fields, tables, and identification of the object page. Along with that, also the UI facets. Then we have also created the behavior definition for the projection layer. And then finally, we created a service definition and binding to do a Fiori app preview. If you remember, this was the step where we were kind of stuck. It was giving an error. I have found the root cause of the error, and today we will first see and fix the error. So what mistake I have done by far? The first mistake which I've done was in the managed processor travel view. I forgot to mention the value here for this particular UI field. So this is the one change. So we maintain here now the travel ID. So this was one issue which I had found we have left over, and now I'll just quickly activate the first thing. So this is one change which I could find that we missed out in the last class while writing the code. And the second is we have to go and also add the behavior definition for the child entities, which are part of our business object. So in our business object, we have travel, we have booking and booking supplement. So user can create, update and delete the travels in our processor scenario, because processor has all the authorization and rights to do everything. Processor is free to do anything in the system with respect to travel and the booking. User can only create a booking provided if a travel is there. You cannot create individual booking. You can only create a booking for a travel. As you all know, it's a mandatory relationship. It's a composition. We have also defined it as a composition in our base layer, because we don't want user to create booking without having a travel. And that's true in practical sense. If you want to travel, let's say from Mumbai to New York City, you must have to have at least one travel exist, and that travel contains now a booking for flight from Mumbai to San Francisco, or San Francisco to New York, and then New York to Dubai, and Dubai to Mumbai. So there are four bookings in the whole travel. So without having a travel created, it is not possible to create booking. So that's why we say creation of booking is only allowed with the help of this association. So this is a very important point which we have to mention as part of our behavior definition, so that user cannot create the bookings independently without having a travel. So this is one part which we already did in last class, but we forgot the behavior definition for the booking as well as booking supplement. So we will use same syntax, define behavior for, and then our CDS entity name for the projection alias, and then we will say what is that which is allowed or not allowed for the given scenario. So let's write that. Define behavior. Remember, this is behavior projection we are writing. So one behavior we have already written for entire managed scenario, which is the superset. This is a superset, allows most of the activities, but now we are writing a projection of what we want to expose to the processor. What are all the operations you want to expose to the processor? So processor can do create, update, delete. Processor can also update the bookings, and processor can also update the booking supplement. So these are all the behaviors I'm exposing out from the superset. This is our superset which we did already in the past, and from here I'm exposing whatever I need to be exposed outside. So remember, you have to have everything in superset, and from this superset you derive the subset as part of your projection. So let's put behavior for ZATS00 managed processor scenario for booking alias booking. Curly braces, and now we'll say what are all the operations which I want to support. So we want to support an operation for updating the booking. It's possible to update a booking, and we also say use association booking supplement. So booking supplement association can be used to create booking supplements. Again, the same thing applies between booking and booking supplement. If you don't have a booking, how can you do booking supplement? For example, if you do not even book for a flight, how will you have flight meal associated with you, right? You have to first have a flight, and only then you can have supplement what you would like to drink or eat within the during the flight time. That's only possible once you have a valid booking. So we'll say the booking supplement creation only possible with the booking, and then we say define. Same thing which you can apply in practical world using sales order and sales order items. So if you don't have a sales order, how can you have sales order items? So same thing you can do here. If your this base entity or root entity is sales order, you will have sales order items association, which says item creation only possible if there is a valid sales order associated to it. So that is how you manage the behavior definition for the same. Now behavior for my booking supplement we will be putting for processor booking supplement. Again, use update is possible, and just save this. So that's it. Our behavior definition for behavior projection is complete. This was also the second reason why our service binding was not getting activated. It was giving weird errors. Of course, those errors something which SAP is supposed to improve more better readability for the developer, but that's something which I think SAP will do it in coming future. Now we will just activate, and you can see the behavior definition got activated successfully. So then we went ahead and created the service definition. So the service definition name was this ZATS00 travel proc. So where is my service definition? Yes, here it is. And in this we have exposed all our processor related CDS views as entities. Okay, and then together with that for F4 help, because I will be also enabling now F4 help in a minute for our display app. So I have also exposed all the F4 help related sub entities which are participating in the association. So these are all also have exposed, and now it's time to create service binding for the same. So I'm going to right click, create new service binding, and let's give some name. Did we decide a name on that day? No. Let's decide a name, ZATS00 service binding processor. So this is the processor scenario service binding for Fiori user interface. Say next. And this was the step which was giving us an error yesterday. And let's see now what happens. You can see it at least got created. And now I can click on activate the node. And you can see here the system is trying to activate this. Yesterday we were getting an error. Let's see now. If everything is smooth, we should be able to see the activation will get successful. And then we will be able to do a Fiori app preview. You can see here the binding type is OData v2 UI, which means we are planning to use this particular service binding for the purpose of Fiori user interface. All right, so this is the service binding type. Now I can see it's been activated. Yes, and we can simply go to the travel here. You see travel has booking, and then country association, And then further you have a booking having multiple associations. Similarly, booking supplement has multiple association. This is one way to check all the association. Another way to also check the association is using the explorer, BO explorer. So what you can do is just select your travel thing. You can right click and you can say open with BO explorer. So there's an option to open the same in the BO explorer. So just check that. I think we can also use shortcut control shift G, control shift H. So there's a shortcut to open the same thing in form of a BO explorer. Alt shift W, I think. So just select and say Alt shift W, and you see you got an option, relation explorer. Click on that, and now you will see system opens a relation explorer. Just drag and drop it here on the left side, and now you can see guys here the complete BO structure is visible here. This is one of the best way to also explore your entire business object in one go. I will just put the shortcut here in our PPT so that you can later on try. So this is what we can use, Alt Shift W, to be able to open the BO Explorer. And then we can just go ahead and explore our entire business object along with its behavior. So if you just come back and select travel, you see it says travel is allowed to be create, delete, and update. For booking, only update is allowed, and for supplement, only update is allowed. Of course, that the booking create is allowed only with the travel. It is not allowed with the directly. So you cannot create a straight away a booking without creating a travel. So that's our B Explorer, very handy tool. At times you can use this tool very often to explore all the dependencies between each of the business object. I use it very often at times when I want to see how complicated my entire set of CDS views are in the system. I do use it very often. Okay, so maybe just close this relation explorer, come back, and now so it's all active. Let's do a Fury app preview then. So I can go back here, right click on travel, say open Fury app preview. It launches my ABAP on cloud system, and hopefully today we will be able to see a Fury app preview now in there, and we will be able to create new travel requests. We will be able to view existing travel requests, and we will be able to search them, and then we will be able to also create bookings for each of the travel, the line item kind of scenario which you guys were asking me for since quite a long time. About how can we do child creation with the help of parent. So that's something which we'll be able to do. So you can do a search here. You can see, maybe I just put customer ID 6 and search, and then okay, we can just search, and then you can see here we find, so there's nothing with 6, we have with 1, 2, and 3. So let's just go back and put customer ID 2 search, and I can see search is working fine. We can drill down, and with the drill down you will now see it shows me all the details about the travel, and voila, you see now there's a table which is created out here, awesome, which allows me to now create booking for this given travel. So this is exactly that what one thing you've been asking since quite long ago, is it possible to create a sales order header and then line items with the same application with the Fury app preview? Is it possible? And there you go, you can see it's now available. Yeah, so maybe let's try to create a fresh one. So I'm going to go back and just try to create a fresh one. So we'll create a new, absolutely new travel. So you see 9595 already there. So I'll create one with, let's say, 4545. Yeah, it's not there already. So just search for 4545. I think it's not there, not there. So just try to create new one. So let's create a new travel. Of course, we can also do late numbering. Late numbering means travel number should be generated automatically. We saw one example in the past. Similarly, we can also do that, but right now just live with the manual input. And another big problem here is F4 help is not available, you see. So I kind of have to rely completely on the manual input, which is not a good idea. At times user may enter wrong values, and then later point of time that can create a, of course it will not create a problem because there's no validation happening here, because entire creation is diverted by the framework. We have no control in doing validation. Of course I'll show you and teach you validation in case of managed scenario, but right now there's no validation. Whatever junk you input, it will save simply. So it's better at least we enable F4 help for now, for the agency ID, customer ID, and currency. At least these three fields I want F4 to be enabled. So let's go ahead and do that. So we will be enabling first of all the F4 help for all these things. So I will go back to our views and we will enable quickly the F4 help. So let's go ahead and enable F4 help for our scenario. So I will go back to this. Before we create, we just enable F4 help. So we have to now work with all the time projection view. There is no need to touch the base views. You can do all the UI relevant or all the processor relevant activities here directly, directly in this processor view over here. So that's what exactly we will be doing. So let's add an F4 help for the agency. So come down. This is our agency field. We already have created an association. We will be using the same to create an F4 help. So I'll say at the rate consumption, value help definition, entity. What is the name of the entity? And here you have to put the name of the view, the CDS view, which will be used or responsible to show the value help for the agency. So we already had association. If you just go back to the base CDS layer, to the managed base travel CDS, you remember we have done association with agency here. Yeah, you can see this agency. This one I've used my own CDS views, but you can the base of this was DMO I agency. So we'll be using the same because that's the one which we are also exposing here as part of our service definition. You see this agency I'm exposing already here. So this will become as a base for my F4 help. So we'll be using this one. So I'm gonna go back, DMO agency. We just put that, and then we put here element. Which element of this should be used for the F4 help? So we will say its agency ID will be used for the F4 help. So yeah, agency ID is where we want to attach it. So of course this element name will be agency ID here. You have to just keep this. So for this element agency ID, which is this guy, please go ahead and get the value help from this particular agency. Okay, that's what we are doing. And the next subsequent step, we also want to display the name, agency name. So we have to also specify the text element. So at the rate object model text element, and we will mention its agency. And where is agency name? We just have to bring it also here with the help of association, which we created, agency association, and just say city, country, ID, name. Yeah, just add that, save this. And now next we will be going ahead and also exposing similarly the F4 value help for customer. So just take the same annotation for customer. and this one attaches to customer ID, and I underscore customer. Customer name, customer association I'll use to fetch the customer name. So you have to mention this exact name same, so the system can display the names accordingly. Just save this. Next comes is our currency, hopefully. So we'll also be maintaining it for the currency. Similarly, the F4 help. So currency, here it is. And it's I underscore currency entity. Just save that. And let's activate. So now we will be getting F4 help, so user can utilize the same for the ease of use. Similarly, I will also do the same activity for the booking, so the while creating booking also we should get the value help accordingly. So I can come down, so we go to booking, and in the booking also we can see here this customer ID, we have carrier ID, connection ID, a lot of these things are there, so we can utilize the same behavior also for this. So just take the one for this one, come back to this, and we have this customer ID. Okay, so we have customer and customer ID. Just also make this ID. We also have association here for customer. Once again, the customer last name. Okay, and then we have app preview. Later on, when I will create this app in the web ID full stack, you will see this will also become enabled over there. But currently in the preview mode, it's not possible. But at least you can figure out that we have third level already available called booking supplement. So within this flight travel, which is on 12th of September, I'm traveling from an American airline flight connecting flight 17. I can order supplements. I can decide what I want to have during course of my flight. I can have a meal, I can have a drink, I can have extra facilities, a business class travel like facilities, first come first, or let's say first out services. You can opt for different add-on services. That's your booking supplement. You have the level 3. So similar to this, you can have sales order items, and sales order scheduling line items for the line item level. So this is the same scenario you can implement using our custom sales order tables also. Okay, so that was about the processor scenario. So you see, processor is able to create, edit, delete any of the booking. Now what about approver? Approver should be not able to create new booking. Approver should only be able to view the booking. Approver should only be able to edit the description, and only the description and the price. But approver other than that should not be able to edit anything. Okay, so that's the approver scenario we will be taking now. But before we do that, let's also display our fields related to created by, created on, changed on, and changed by. So those fields I want to display as read only fields. So I can go back, and we go back to the behavior definition, which is base behavior definition. So this is our processor behavior definition. Just close all the other things. So where's my behavior definition for processor? This is the one. And we have one for managed behavior definition. This is service definition, not behavior definition. Yeah, it's here. So this is our managed full-fledged behavior definition, and this is my processor behavior definition. So you can see we have taken out from the full-fledged, this is my full-fledged definition where I'll allow different operations. And from sorry, this is my full-fledged definition. And from here we have taken out create, update, delete, association. All this we have taken out as it is for processor. Okay, you see this processor. And then we've also taken out update association, update association. You see update association. We are not allowing user to delete any of the bookings, and we are also not allowing delete any of the bookings supplement to the user. So that's a current expose of projection. Projection means sub functionality. You're just projecting and taking out some functionality from it. Now what I will do is I'll also just go to the base and I will say user should never be able to edit the created by, created on, changed by, and changed on fields. So that's what we will be mentioning here. So let's do that. We just do the field control, and then here we will say this field read only. This we also did in many scenarios, same thing you can do here. And I will say last changed by, last changed at, created by, and created at. So these are all the things I don't want user to allow any edit. We will also make some fields mandatory. And we'll say agency ID, overall status, and booking fee is mandatory. These three fields I'm making mandatory, maybe currency code also. Yeah. So that's the base, we are making it. Similarly, we can go to the booking and we can also make some fields mandatory for booking level. So just come down, and here is our booking. So we will make here field control mandatory. And we want our carrier ID, connection ID, and flight date to be mandatory. That's mandatory field. And then we will also can go ahead and make mandatory for supplement. Price. Just save and activate. And then can come down, and let's expose from here what functionality I want to give out, so we can further do more refinement on top of existing ones. So this is the base. So these things which I marked here, they will apply both for processor and for approver, because we have done it in the base behavior definition. But if you want certain features or certain things to be controlled at the level of processor alone, you can do further changes here at the processor level. Yeah, that's something which we can do that further. So here we will go ahead and add more things as part of processor. We will make more things mandatory and read only accordingly. So what I will do is I will say my begin date, end date, and customer ID should be mandatory for processor, because processor will be creating them, and processor it makes more sense to make these things mandatory. So in the processor you can say field mandatory, begin date, end date, and customer ID as mandatory, because processor is going to create. However, for approver this will not be mandatory, because approver is not creating any travel. Approver will be just approving it, so we will not make it mandatory for approver. Okay, that's it, we are done. Let's activate, and now we can see it on the UI. The changes will reflect on the UI accordingly, because we had made the change in behavior definition. So I'm going to go back, I'll share all this code with you. You guys can just go ahead and try this same scenario exactly in the same way. We just reload the UI. And I just click on go button, and let's go to display. Maybe I just go to create, another create. And now in the create, you can see this star mark indicates that these things are now mandatory. You see booking fee is mandatory, status is mandatory, agency ID is mandatory, travel ID is mandatory. So all these things is showing now mandatory. This is the change which has happened. You see, we have made these things mandatory. Similarly, if you go to the booking level, currently the draft functionality is also not supported with any of the scenario in the RESTful ABAP context. Hopefully in the next release with RESTful ABAP in the cloud, the SAP will also support the draft functionality. Currently they are not supporting, but hopefully they will start supporting this from the next release onwards. I will also show you the release roadmap for the RESTful ABAP, where you can find when will the draft functionality be available. Okay, let's go inside and just try to create the booking now for the existing travel. Now you see airline ID, flight number, booking number, travel ID, all these are mandatory now accordingly, whatever we chose. So which means if I try to save, you can see it's giving this error. Travel ID is mandatory. You see, I just enter 4545, again hit the save button. It allowed me to create, but somehow ideally it shouldn't have allowed me to create this. It allowed anyway, but the star mark indicates that it's mandatory. Okay, so user can go ahead and edit any of the travel now, sorry, any of the booking inside the travel. So this is it, our processor scenario. Of course, we'll do a lot of things like validation. We want to do validation. We want to do feature control. We want to do copy by template. A lot of these functionality I will be implementing in the behavior implementation, but that will be doing in the subsequent lessons. But now we will go ahead and create for approver scenario. And what approver is supposed to do? Approver can just approve and reject, or can view the existing booking and edit only two properties. So however, here you see the processor can create anything, processor can delete anything, but approver can only edit an existing travel, but will not be able to delete or create new bookings. So only will approver will have update authorizations. So that's what we will be doing it. Okay, there's a question here. This Fiori app is not following the old master detail approach. Yes, it's not following old master detail, rather it's following smart templates. Okay, it follows the smart template approach. There is any, or there we have a write a code for input box. Anubhav, just one question but not related to many scenario. If we give all these annotations, then call the CDS in SEGW as data source, then will we have F4 help to fields for Fiori app in simple form? Pooja, I don't think that is possible, because we will when we use RESTful ABAP programming, we never go to SCGW, never, because in this context, the entire project for OData is managed by service binding. So in this case of scenarios, we never ever go to SCGW or do any reference. In case of on-premise, also you never do that, because in on-premise also you can use RESTful ABAP, and you just have to do service binding to generate the necessary OData service. So SEGW is nowhere here in the picture. It's kind of, old approach of creating OData service. The new approach of creating OData service for Fiori UI is utilizing the RESTful ABAP with service binding option. Okay, still it does not mean that the old approach is not valid anymore. It is still valid. In your company, if you have SEGW services, they will still continue to work. You can also build new SEGW services, as we've learned in UI5 course. But this is an additional feature advancement of technology which SAP is offering, which you can utilize to get or achieve more. Okay, And since you use manually creating of everything in case of SEDW based Fiori apps, then you can anyway do F4 help, as I've taught you in the UI5 course. You can enable F4 help accordingly. All right. So now let's come back and build CDS layer, the projection CDS layer for approver. There's another question from Sushant. What is the optimum level of hierarchy for CDS view in relationship navigator? There is no optimum way, depends on your need. How many levels you want. In our case, we have 3 levels. I think that's a maximum somebody would go typically, but we never know. In complicated financial scenarios, maybe you want to have level up to 7 or 6 or 10 levels. It's also possible. There is definitely no problem in that. You can create as many entities as you want, but many majority of you always wanted me to show such scenario where we have multiple levels. That's why I've covered this scenario with 3 levels here in this case. Okay, so let's go back. It will not affect performance, not at all, never. Okay, let's come back, and now we will build projection layer for. So I will, to save time, will make a copy of my travel and booking CDS views. So let's create for data definition, and we will be creating for approver this time, projections for approver. ATS 00 manage scenario approve travel. Approver projection for travel. Next, remember we have to choose define projection view always, and that's it. And we can reuse now most of the code because we still need everything for approver also. So we just go back and pick it up everything from here and paste it here. Of course, you will not be doing any create, so there are many things which you can skip. We'll see that in a minute. And right now I'm commenting this booking association, otherwise it'll create a problem for me. Just activate. There's a problem. Can just check it out. What's the issue? Root keyword is missing. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Done. Okay. Another problem. What's the problem? 00 booking is not found. Okay. Element target booking is not found. I got the reason. We have to also create the booking parallelly, guys. Let's also create the booking projection for approver. Booking. So actually want to show in this picture, we have actually completed this first left side path. So left side path is complete. Now we are going to the right side path, the yellow color. So I'm building now the CDS projection for approver. Okay, and then we will also implement one behavior definition for approver, and then we will just quickly do the definition of service and binding for the service to see the Fiori UI for approver. Remember, again I repeat, approver cannot create travel request. Approver cannot delete a travel request. Approver can only approve or reject and edit the description and the booking fee only for the travel. So he will be able to do edit of travel with only limited functionality. So that's the use case for approver. So that's the reason we are building another set of layers on top of existing layer. So completely reusable, very robust way of programming. You don't have to rewrite all the logic. You can just do the projection on top of what is existing available. Okay, just come here. And for booking this guy, just pick it up. Okay, And now here we don't need booking supplement for this guy, at least no need for booking supplement. Let's say bye bye to this guy. Rest all the things we'll still keep it. And here this will change to approved travel. Save this. Let's come back and uncomment this also. So now we have the parent-child relationship correctly maintained. All right. And now we will just try to simultaneously activate both of them for approver scenario. Okay, there's a problem. Let's open up the ABAP log. There is a problem here in the activation. Let me just observe that. Could not pass DDL M approve booking. That's okay. Was not active, was not active. What is the reason? Parent association to M proc booking must point to target entity ZATS. Okay, where is parent association? Ah, this one. Parent should point to travel. Approve booking. Yeah. So both should point to each other, only then they will activate. Let's try now. Activation together. They will activate together. They won't activate alone. Okay. Have to activate them together. All right, guys. Both of them are active. Superb. We didn't do much effort here. Just activated our views. And now we can just also make a sleek look for this one. Just for the, yeah. And now we can just go ahead and create the next layer, which is projection layer, behavior definition projection. So I just choose the root entity for approver and right click and say new behavior definition. And now I say next. It's a projection, behavior projection layer, like we did last time. And you see it has got everything from the base, create, update, delete. But for approver, we don't want user to delete. We don't want user to create. So just remove this. And for the booking, we just want allow update. We don't want allow create also. So I just also remove this. Bye bye. So you see, we only allow update of travel and we only allow update of booking. We don't allow create of booking for approver. We don't allow create of travel for approver. So you see all the functionality I have kind of suppressed here. So this is the way your projection will do the magic, though everything is supported by the framework. But here by removing those keywords, you see now for approver, it is not possible to actually create or create or delete the travel as well as bookings. Approver can only see, guys, and approve and reject. So say travel, and there is no booking supplement which approver can see, so that there is no booking supplement also we have. So just activate this behavior definition. Done. And now it's time to create behavior service definition for this, for approver. And I will say ZATS 00 service definition approver. And we will expose all the entities which we need as part of approver. So we would need both of our entities, the travel and the booking for approver. And what else? Because approver cannot anyway create anything, there is no need to expose everything, because we don't want to give any F4 help. So we don't need to even expose anything, but yet still we want to expose the customer and agency and currency, because that's the data which we want to display on the first screen in the table. Remember here, this agency name, customer name, yeah, this needs to be displayed to the end user, right? So for that reason we have to still expose those two currency customer entities outside. So let's expose dmo underscore customer agency. That's it, my service definition. And we'll just create a Fiori app preview now for by creating a service implement service binding. So let's create a service binding for this definition approver. This one was easy because there is no create update functionality. It's just the view functionality for travel and update of few properties. Let's activate the endpoints and we will be ready to see the preview for the approver. Remember, again I'm repeating, approver cannot do create of travel, approver cannot do create of booking, approver can only view, edit few properties. Few property means the booking fee and the description. That's what we will only allow approver to edit. And then approver can of course save the changes but cannot delete any booking, cannot delete. And then of course finally we will be learning how to approver can do the approve and reject. So that's called action. We will learn how to how does an approver can do an action, approve and reject action. We will be learning that. So let's do the preview now. It's completed, very easy, straightforward, and we'll just do the preview. So you see now we have two apps. This app is for the processor app, which can do create, update, delete anything. This app which we have, the next app which is created, another service binding for approver we have created, reusing the same base layer. Base CDS have been reused as it is, base behavior definition is reused as it is, only exposing the limited functionality out. So I can see now here, okay, why it's not showing me our columns. There's a problem here. We're doing a, did I run a different entity? Just try again. Did we use it correct or not? Approved travel, yeah. And in my approved travel, I have all these guys here. Yeah, looks good. All this looks good. Why it's not showing my fields? Let me just cross check. For approver, it should show all the fields which we need. We don't want any editing functionality for approver. Only display functionalities. Yes, it's coming up, guys, nicely. Maybe some refresh problem. Okay, so you see here there's no create button anymore because it's approver app. Okay, I say go button. I do see the values. I can drill down and I can see the bookings for the given approver. So you see there are 3 bookings here for this guy. Okay, I can see the bookings, but I cannot delete anything. Yet I can edit, and you see, oh my god, this is incorrect, because approver should only be able to edit the booking fees and description. I don't want approver to edit other things. Okay, I don't want approver to edit other things. So what do we do? How can we restrict approver to not edit any other things other than fee and description? Simply go to behavior definition of the approver scenario, and here make all those fields read only. Exactly. Just make those things read only. So we just say field read only, and we make all the fields read only, including travel ID, agency ID, everything will make read only. Customer ID, currency code, begin date, end date, begin date, end date, booking fee, total price. Booking fee we want to allow, total price we don't want to allow. Currency code we don't want to change, and booking status we don't want to change. So we make these fields read only. Now at the behavior definition level, we are using the field control feature to disable these fields for the end user. Read only, currency code, and agency. Okay. It's already read only, so we don't have to make this read only, and we can just activate. Now watch out guys, in the system. Okay. We can just minimize this. Go ahead for approver one more time. Reload the app. So these are all the fields which becomes read only for approver. I can go for search, and I can go inside any operation. Let's try to edit now. Okay, still it's allowing me to edit. I don't know why. Didn't it refresh? I think it should have refreshed. Let me try again. Refresh the cache and try again. I delete should allow, not allow to edit other properties. All right, that's the behavior we want. So anyway, create option is not available. You cannot create as an approver new bookings or new travel requests. Not possible. Go inside, allow edit. And yes, you can see guys, now you cannot edit end date, customer ID. You cannot touch any of these things. You can only change the booking fees and description. Why it's not, why it's also allowing me status, currency code? That's because we have made these things mandatory, and you cannot actually change the mandatory things behavior in the projection. So what I would do is go back to my base, and here from the mandatory list I will remove these things from my base. Actually, where is my base definition? This is the base definition, and you see here, since these things are made mandatory, my user cannot actually edit these things. But this also can be controlled dynamically. It's called dynamic feature control. We will actually learn that. For timing, I'll leave it as it is, because I wanted to show you dynamic feature control feature later point of time. So I want to leave it like this, but at least you can see the other things have become disabled. The approver cannot edit. Approver can only edit the description and can save, and this will get saved in the database. And as you all know, in the managed scenario, I have not written any insert, update, delete logic myself. It's all managed by framework. That's why it's called managed scenario. System will manage everything on its own. We don't have to take care of any insert, update, delete like we did in unmanaged scenario. We have written function module calls to insert, update, delete the data in the system. Okay, so that's the approver scenario. But now what I want is I want to basically allow actions like approve and reject. So here approver can select a record, and you see this status is currently open. I want status to be approved or rejected, A or R. So for that we want to give buttons here, two buttons, approve and reject button. Similarly for the scenario here for approver, sorry, the processor, we want to give a button here, and that is called create by template. So when user select a record and choose create by template button, what will happen? It will make a copy of this travel automatically. So that is the ease of use. So these are the functionality we will be implementing. Plus also another thing is, let's say for example, if I go inside and if I go and edit any of the booking, for example, I'll go to our record 4545 and I will edit any booking here. So if I go and edit any booking, I go inside booking, edit a booking, and in the booking I will just go ahead and choose some booking, and you see this booking is 10,953 Singapore dollars. Okay, so what I want is just put some date. The moment I click on save button, based on this value 10,953 Singapore dollar, the first thing should happen is convert this 10,953 Singapore dollar to the base currency. Base currency is given at the parent level. So when I click on save button, this Singapore dollar 10,000 should convert to euros, which is the base currency. Base currency is at the level here. You see AED is the base currency. I want that 10,000 Singapore dollar to convert to AED and update the total price automatically in AED currency based on all the bookings inside the travel. Are you clear, guys? What kind of functionality we want? So the child elements can have different currencies. We want to do currency conversion and we want to do total and update that total automatically here for the travel level, so that system will show the total amount and in a single currency based on the total bookings done. That is a functionality I want to implement also as part of the processor. So all these functionality we will be learning in our coming days, how to implement feature control, actions, determinations. We will also learn validation as in currently there's no validation. I can just save anything. I can simply go back and I can say create, and then I can just enter, let's say 4646, and I can just enter any value. You see, so currently there is no validation here. Okay, at least the number validation is there, it's expecting a digit, but I can enter any number, can enter any wrong data. There's no validation here. You see I enter a wrong currency code, and there's I'll enter any validation here. Status as, let's say I is not a valid status. Click on save, and you see the record got saved. So there's no validation for agency, customer, because it's all managed scenario. System is managing it, but system does not know that whether you want validation or not. System is simply taking your data, pushing in the database table. No validation is being done. Earlier in unmanaged scenario, the validation was being triggered automatically within the function module, which you had already. So in the function module, the validation was happening, but here there is no validation happening currently. So how do we add our own functionality in case of managed scenario to do validation, to do calculation? Calculation is also known as determination, to perform actions, to do dynamic feature controls. What is a dynamic feature control? When you come here for approver, if you select a record and if this record is already approved, okay, if this record is already approved, then we should not enable the approve button again. We should enable reject button. If the record which you choose is already rejected, we should not enable reject button, we should enable approve button. So that's what exactly we want. Okay, we want exactly the same thing. That's what we will be learning in our coming days. It will be all coding. In the implementation, we will be doing implementation further to hook our own functionality with the managed scenario. And then we will learn web APIs, and then we will talk about Git, ABAP, Git, and that's how we will be closing. Also, there's one scenario which we will see if system allows me to create, to basically invoke an API from S4HANA system, fetch the data in ABAP on cloud. So that's what also I will be showing. Possibly that's not possible in the trial use case. Anybody has a productive instance of ABAP on cloud in your company? Anyone? Do you have productive ABAP on cloud instance of your company? No one? No one of you have? No one? Don't you have a productive ABAP on cloud instance? Yes, you have, Praveen. Will it be possible, Praveen, to share details so that I can show one scenario where I will call the API from S4 cloud system or S4 HANA OP system and show the data in the cloud to everybody? Because currently in the trial, they don't allow me to configure communication scenario. And in order to establish a secure connection to S4 system, we need a communication scenario.
Communication. Communication means like since from HANA system, like from which system you want?
ABAP. So basically, I will let you know. Maybe let us
Yeah. Okay.
complete at least the scenarios first. This managed scenario end to end. Hopefully, it will take 2 more
Yes.
classes
Okay.
to complete managed scenario. After that, I'll switch to
Okay.
web API. That is the time I will tell you what I need from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
So
Okay.
if you can
Thank
give maybe just for one class your company system to us, we will probably record the class, and I will make sure not none of your confidentiality of your company is being published to anybody. Okay, so we'll record
you.
in
Okay.
such a way that your personal identification is not published to anyone. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
so that way I will show you a scenario to consume data from S4 system into the cloud using ABAP on cloud, which was an ask from
Okay.
two of you.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
All right,
Sure.
guys. With that, it's a wrap on today's class, and I will see you next weekend. I hope you enjoyed the approver and processor scenario. We have a lot to do in the next class, implementing our custom logic as part of the same. And I will see you in the next class. Thank you so much. Have a nice day and goodbye.